Welcome to Into the Fractal-verse with me, John Cordy. These videos are brought to you by G66 UK. And if you're in the UK and you're worried about things like waitlists, you don't need to be in the UK now. You can get an FM3, an FM9 or an Axifex 3 and you won't have to pay or any import charges. And there's a UK service centre now. So really great news for UK people. And yeah, just wanted to let you guys know, if you're reading forums and stuff and looking on Facebook, people talk about wait lists. In the UK, we don't have a wait list, so that's really cool. Today, I wanted to do a video about the Dumbles of the Fractal audio systems world. And the idea really was to kind of look at some of the options that we've got. Some of these are based on real world example amps like the Blue Tone and also the HRM, which Cliff actually owns. And then some of them are based on schematics. This may not matter hugely to you, or it may, but in terms of authenticity, the sorts of amps that you might want to focus on would be the Blue High. So this is based on Austin Buddy's, how do you actually say that? Blue High. Austin Buddy's Blue Tone, which is based on Robin Ford's actual Dumble. So we've got 3 there. The other Dumbles to look out for then, I'll just go through these. Fox ODS, so Andy Fuchs was one of the earlier guys to do stuff along with the Blue Tone chaps. So we've got the ODS and the ODS Mid. Then we've got these here. So ODS 100 Clean, that's based on a schematic. ODS 100 Ford and Ford PAB Mid, those are based on schematics as well. ODS 100 HRM Mid, that's based on Cliff's actual amp. Leave a comment if I've missed any out. But these here, 2Rock, J35, 2Rock, a lot of what they make is super based upon some of that Dumble type stuff anyway. So those are some of the options. I've picked a few here that I really like. So first of all, I got the Bludo here. So this, basically Robin Ford had this guy build him a clone, presumably to tour around Europe and stuff like that maybe. But if you copy Robin's exact settings, it's not tons of gain. Possibly you might be familiar with Robin's later stuff. It seems that he's used less gain as he's older. My favourite stuff is like the Miles Davis live playing, and that's got quite a lot more gain. We'll get onto that later, but there's also a Zen Drive here, which I've put here as an option. So you could kick that on if you want a bit more gain. But yeah, the settings that I've copied from some photos of Robin's actual amp, he's got lines, blue lines as it happens, above, so presumably that's kind of his starting point. One thing that he does say is that each of his Dumbles that he has 2 proper Dumbles at least. He has to set the knobs in different places to get the same tone. So do feel free to experiment from here. For instance, if I wanted much more gain, the overdrive here might be where I would look. And overdrive volume here as well. But be careful not to overdo the level as you put these up. So overdrive volume all the way at 10. Has a really nice vibe to it, but the settings that apparently Robin actually uses live closer to this sort of thing. So experiment from here and then compensate with the level over here. His master volume seems to be consistently set around sort of 5. And if you've got it, that's basically The next one we've got is based on a schematic, the ODS 100 Ford. So that should, in theory, sound quite similar, if we can get the volumes right. To the Blue though, because they're based on exactly the same amp. I won't spend too much time on that, but that's based on a schematic. Then for some slightly higher gain tones, and this is based on a real amp, Cliff actually owns this amp, the HRM. So HRM stands for Hot Rodded Marshall. Basically this is an ODS with a tone stack, a Marshall tone stack put at the end of it. And it sounds lovely, especially as you start to get into these kind of more soupy tones. And try playing with dynamics. So that one is awesome as well. Then for some more over the top kind of gain, the 2-Rock I think is a good option. Now this PAB thing, preamp bypass, Robin said this gives you plus 2 dB of gain. This is an option on most of the Dumble amps where you kind of just bypass the tone stack altogether and you get kind of a bit more gain and a bit kind of more full tone. So you can think about that as sort of like a gain boost. You obviously lose the bass, middle and treble when you engage that. So if we look at the actual amp options, you have the 2-Stone J35, which would have your bass, middle and treble. And I would consider maybe, if you have an FM9 or an Axifex 3, maybe pairing up a few of these to get a really big kind of sound. Other things that I've got going on here, the Dumble amp or the Dumble cab here, I'm using Factory 913 and Factory 920, so that's one with a 4047 and then another mic here. Another key to Robin's sound in particular, a 125 sort of tape delay, sort of tape slapback. He used to use a Strymon timeline for this. I don't know if he still does, but yeah, tape style and then 125. You could consider bringing this ratio all the way up if you want it in the center, and if you don't, then anyway, that works quite nicely. And then he tends to use some sort of plate reverb. So on his board, sometimes he's had a Hall of Fame reverb on plate setting. So experiment with that. A really good range of Dumble tones that you can get out of Fractal. I don't know if I've missed any here, but so Fox is based on the Fuchs stuff. That's got a lovely feel too. That's a lovely one with a mid boost there. What else have we got? We've got the Bluedos, obviously, and yeah, just have a mess around with it, really. I think once you pair it with a nice Dumble cab, they all have a really good sound to them. And I think, it seems to me that older Robin Ford was using quite a bit more gain than the markings on the amp. Something more like that. And he says that the drive channel doesn't like pedals, so I think he must have been just running with a lot more gain on the amp. Larry Carlton as well used to do that sort of thing and use a volume pedal to kind of back off the drive. I just think there's something lovely about this sort of tone. It really speaks to me, at least. And there is a clean channel here as well, if you want to check that out. But yeah, I'll drop that into my Gumroad folder. But like I say, if you're in the UK, don't forget that the FM3, FM9 and AXFX3, which have all of these awesome models in them, are available now with no waitlist and with a UK free shipping and service centre. So I think it's a good time to be a UK Fractal person. Thank you for stopping by. I'll drop the preset that I was using in the intro there into the folder if you wanted to check out some of those tones. Good range of clean. If you're wanting to boost the Dumble, then Robin setting something like this on his Zen Drive, drive at 4, voice at 6, tone at 4, level at about 5, it seems to be something like what he would do. I think he also sometimes uses a boost in front of that, so experiment with that sort of stuff if you're interested in Robin specifically. But I think these amps, to me, have a really, really soupy, creamy lead, and I think they're some of my favourite sounds that you can get out of modelers in general, but specifically Fractal I really like for having such a range of these tones in there. I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers for now.